Hey YouTube, it's Alicia, none other. I am back with another story time. Now this story time is me telling another story when I used to volunteer at my mother's school. For any of y'all who don't know, I've been doing this series called When I Used to Volunteer at My Mother's School. This is a part 6 to this, and I sometimes I would just sit down and I would remember stories and I say, oh, I need to tell them that story. So that's how these stories are coming about. Contents: I am not giving out names. You will hear me say Miss A or Miss B or Dr. B. So without no further ado, let's get started. So as some of y'all know, I used to volunteer at my mother's school for about 4 to 5 years. Okay, I was there for about 4 or 5 years. So during my first year, I remember this clearly. Before they did a makeover on part of the office space where I would usually sit at, literally it was a long cabinet, like desk, that was just right there, and I would just have to sit or stand and think. All right, because this series will have a part 7, let me just say that. And in this story it was this older woman. I'll say she was about in her late 40s, early 50s, and she had a mouth on her, and her grandson at the time was always a troublemaker. He got into trouble. Everybody just said he's a troublemaker. I can tell y'all, he was suspended at least 4 times, at least doing the whole school year in 2 months times that I was there for the 2 months that I had started. So he was it was like 3 months in. Yeah, 3 months in. This will be about around this instant would have started in September. This instant, what happened, started in the beginning of August, early September. So he kept getting into trouble. He got into fights and stuff. And one day he did something that you should never do. And he made threats. He made some threats toward his teacher. And my principal just got sick and tired of him. So she was going to say, oh, I'm going to call your mom. She called her. Like I said, his grandmother came up there. And grandmother, let me just say, heavy-set woman and stuff and thing. She come up there blasting. She comes all up there huffy and puffy, and she goes, I want to speak to Dr. R. She was pissed. I go, okay, give me 1 minute. And I looked at Miss Di. Miss Di said, I got this leash. She called Miss Dr. R. She wasn't in the office. She said, and Miss Williams said, totally, can you sit and wait for a minute before we can find where she is? They said, yeah. And she said, Leash, come here. I need you to go. She said, Dr. R is in the lunchroom. Can you run and get her? This is what she was wishing me. I said, yeah, I'll be right back. Okay. I see Dr. R and I see Mr. Harris. And at the time, let me think. We had 3 principals at the time: Dr. R, Dr. H, and Mrs. W. So Dr. R, and I see Dr. R and Mr. Harris, and Miss W is on straight up by the cashier in the lunchroom. And I run up to Dr. R. She said, Grace, you need something? I said, you need to come to the office. I said, you remember that boy you kind of suspended yesterday? She goes, yeah. I said, he's not with her, but Mama Dearest is here and she's in a foul mood. Okay. She goes, okay, do you think I need to have Mr. Harris with me? I said, you might wanna. And she said, okay, tell them I'm on my way and tell her I'm on my way. Tell Miss Williams, can you go and call the office and stuff? I said, I'm a speed walker. I got this. She said, good. Okay. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I got to get some teachers to put some teachers on duty. So she had to get teachers to put teachers on duty for her. And then she told Miss W, hey, we got an issue in the office. I need you to stay on. She said, I got this. Y'all don't have to put no teachers on duty. I got this. Okay. They come in, they right behind me. They say, Alicia, don't worry about them, right behind me. She sees Miss Dr. R and she sees Mr. H. Okay, they go in her room. She's like all huffy and puffy. She's mad. She comes out. Now, y'all, she comes out. Like I said, she's mad. She said, I'll be back up here tomorrow. And I promise you, it wouldn't be too pleasant. I'm bringing a lawyer. And I'm going, so I'm like this. And I go like this. I go like this. And then I look at the Ms. Dr. R and Mr. Harris, and I look like this. I turn and I look at Ms. Williams. And the next thing she goes, Liz, you heard that, right? I said, yeah. And I said, you might want to call central office where they could be over here tomorrow. So we had a parent in there and I had to say this to her in her ear. And she said, Liz, we got this. She's overreacting. But I said, she might be overreacting, but I'm saying you never know with certain parents. Okay, we all just thinking this woman is just flustered and she didn't mean nothing. Baby, when she came up there the next day, she came back the next day. And she came back when the teacher had her lunch, when the teacher had her break. They all in Dr. Rowan's office. Now you know, Mrs. Rowing's office. It's her. It's the teacher. It's Mr. Harris. It's Mrs. Watts up in there. And they had one of the administrators to come over from the administration office just to come. And they said, your son, your grandson is the problem. He's doing this. He's doing that. The teacher had always made copies. This particular white teacher always made copies of everything that she has written up about him. And she said, this is what he has done for this week. She said, nah, y'all targeting my son. Y'all targeting my grandson. He ain't this, he ain't that. Like I always tell y'all never know your kids and stuff. She was so pissed. She just thought, oh, her grandson can't do no wrong. And y'all, let me just say, she just was a mother of color. Her mother of color. So she's pissed. He kept getting into trouble. Okay. He kept going to ISS and stuff. And so finally, she comes back up there again. Same situation again a month later. Okay. This is sort of like middle of August. And what I remember about this is because this was when I first started and stuff. So when I first started, and this is just one thing I remember, and it was me over. So right near me is some of like teachers. It's my mom and it's me, my mom, and it's me and my mom, Mrs. E, Mrs. MG, let me just say it like that, Miss MG, and it is Mrs. O. We all just like this, and then she comes in again. She said, I need to speak to Dr. Rowan right now. My mom looked at this woman the way that she said it towards me, and the woman knew my mom. She go, "Oh, hey, Miss Burton," like that, and then she goes, "Can this receptionist hurry up?" And my mom looked at her like, "That's my daughter you're talking to. You know that, right?" She said, "Not your oldest." And I said, my mom goes, "Yeah." So the woman now knowing it's my mom, who she knows my mom, and she goes, I wish my grandson was put in your class. I wouldn't be having this crap. Da 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 da. And I'm going, you got to picture me looking at my mom like she's talking to my mom, and I'm doing this, looking at my mom like, looking at Mrs. Edge like, and mouthing, "Really? You think?" And I'm mouthing, "Oh, really? You think because your grandson is not in my mom's class, he would be acting like that?" No, black teachers didn't put up with that crap. This boy was getting into trouble. He gets in trouble. He was getting into trouble. He was starting fights. So this woman, let's just say once towards the end of the year, this was in like April and stuff. And I remember this to this day. And thing, because I actually started working at the school 2004, 2005, right up in there and further up. I'll give y'all the dates and stuff. But when it came to it, this woman got so much fed up. I mean, she kept coming back and forth trying to solve the issues. She's getting pissed. She's getting frustrated. They just thought, oh, y'all just doing this to my son because he's African American. Da 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 da. She got so fed up, y'all. She just thought that he was just being targeted and stuff. He wasn't being targeted. They were telling the truth about him because I have witnessed a lot of things from it. Until one day after school, I'm with my mom, and she's like complaining to my mom. My mom's like telling me, don't say anything. And she's like, my mom's trying to walk off, and I haul off. We in Walmart. We run into this woman at Walmart, and I got sick and tired of her. And I said, you need to really stop coming up to the school. Your son is the problem, not the teacher. I couldn't take it no more. And I said, your son is the problem. I said, you got a bad behaving grandson. Your grandson starts a lot of things. Your grandson does this. Your grandson does that. Baby, I was in Walmart spewing everything that her son get. And I said, your son deserves to go to ISS. And I said, I wouldn't be too surprised tomorrow he's going to do something to make himself get into several much trouble and go, and he be put in alternative school. My mama thought I was in the wrong for saying that, but I snapped at the lady. My mama said, okay, I understand you snapping at the lady, but in the store, so what happened the next day? So my mama let the principal know I snapped on her. And my principal going, Liz, why you snapped on her? Why you snapped on her? I said she was just complaining to my mom what was going on and stuff. And I said, my mom don't need to know everything that's going on. And I said, I know, I get the slips, before I ever break them to y'all. I actually read what he's doing before I give them to y'all. And they said, well, at least you're doing right. And they said, I understand you with your mom and she complaining and stuff, and you snapped. And they said, we don't blame you for that. I said, y'all might want to, she comes up here tomorrow, y'all might want to have police. I said, y'all want to have police. To our supplies. After she waited 2 days before she came. And to my surprise, 2 days later, she came. And I told doctor, I went knock on her door, and I said, you see who coming up? She said, yep, I'm finna call the police now. Boom. She called the police again. They get into it. They getting back into an argue fest and stuff like that and things. So she's being escorted out of the office and stuff like that. She's not, she just throwing some things. She said, I'm going to withdraw my grandson and I'm going to take him to Starford Academy. And she sees me and I'm going, I give her this face like, as she's walking out, I'm going, because she looked at me like she go, oh, you supposed to be on my side, on my side. I said, when your child in the room, he's in the. So she looked at me like, look at me like I should be on her side. And Dr. R said, don't be looking at Alicia like that. She went off on you at Walmart for a reason. So that's when everybody in the office found out I went off on her. They said, Liz, why you went off on her? Why you went off on her? Miss Dr. R said, and she got the while she was standing there, she told the police I went off on her in Walmart, and then I told them what she was doing and stuff like that. Everybody going, she's wrong for that. She's wrong for that. But then I get one African American teacher came up to me after school. I was doing some copying for my mom, and her name was Miss WS. I'm gonna say Miss WS because she has an S at the end of her name. And black teacher, and she going, I don't think you should have went off on that woman at Walmart. And I'm going, who are you talking to? You might want to bag up. I'm not the one. So everybody can hear right in the women's office hears, and Mrs. Davis, who didn't know my mom, she knows my voice when I'm mad. And Miss Davis called my mom. She said, I don't know what's wrong with Alicia, but she's yelling. My mom runs down there. She sees this woman and me in an argument, and my mama like came between us, and I said, you better be lucky. You better be lucky. My mom said, Leash, just keep on doing that. I'll handle her. My mom had to handle this particular teacher, this black teacher, because she didn't know the situation and stuff, because she knew, because this was like, he went from her class to being in he went from Miss WS class from being in Miss T's class. Okay, that's the white teacher. Excuse me, y'all. And stuff. So that was that. After that, we haven't heard nothing from her. Then the following year, we had 2 more of her grandkids. All we said is, we told the teachers about this particular parent and stuff like that. Turns out these 2 kids was like sweet as humble as pie. These was the only 2 of her grandkids was sweet and humble as pie. They was two more. They was in 2 different classes, but they didn't get the teacher that they wanted either. But they was both in the same class, and they was like sweet and humble as pie. It's like, that was just that. But in this situation, I'm just going to say, like I always tell y'all when I tell these stories, it's like, when I tell y'all these stories about my time volunteering at my mother's school, it's not me just sharing the story. It's me educating our parents. Sometimes y'all are in the wrong. And in this case, this woman was so much in the wrong. Let me just tell y'all, he did get in at Starford Academy. I don't know what time, but all we know, he played on the football team and stuff, but we like said, oh well. We went, oh well. And stuff, because I ended up finding out, like, if it was like kept going on, what was going on, probably by probably before we got out for Christmas, he probably would have been sent to alternative school. He was on his way to be sent to alternative school before she like withdrew them and put them into the academy and stuff. So yeah, that is that story. But I do have another story. But the other story I am going to come and tell in a minute is mostly about me and how my mother had to put 2 overweight teachers in their place. So without further ado, y'all don't forget to thumbs up this video, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.